Yeah. Okay. So that we are on up to Sim Chav Hey in the Shchita, Yoreh. So Sheikhet Tzarech Sheyivdok B'Simanim Achar Shchita. The Sheikhet is chayav to check the Simanim Achar Shchita. B'Shechs im Nishchatu Ruban. If most of to check that the Shchita was done properly. O Yoreh B'Shas Shchita Shem Shchutim, or as he's shechting, he could see what's going on. Ruban v'imlo ra sheruban shchutim aser. And obviously, if he sees that it wasn't ruban shchutim, then it's aser. What's the point? The point is that it's a nevela, and the thing is that with the nakuda, of course, it's aser. But the point that the Shulchan Aruch is making is that until we have a vados that a behemoth is also, right? Whether it's cheska sister or the cheska sister is Ever Menachai or lo shchuta. There's discussions in the discussion about this. But al kopanim, until there's a vaday matir, until it's definitely shechted and it's clear, it's also. This doesn't leave its cheska sister. So you have to actually check and be sure that the bedika, your chayva bedika, to check and be sure that it was done. You can't just say, well, yeah, I did it, or let's say if it got lost, nagid, if it got lost, or the whole head got cut off, you can't tell or anything like that until you check. If you didn't check it, it's a problem and it's not considered kosher. Hagav and go livdak b'derech zeh, and the way you do it is shetekef agodel al shipui koiva, that you go ahead and the sheikh presses on the top of the kone of the windpipe, shipui kova, and then when you do that, then the simanim pop out of the cut. As you can see if they're cut. V'gamim avid shmuta, you can also tell if instead there was ikor, then instead of cutting it, it got pulled out. You can also tell ki im lo yichnesu asimanim lifnim la'achar shehesir etzvo have a shmuta v'treifa. That you press on the shipui kova, if it doesn't rise up, you see that it was detached from. You see that the simanim were detached from the lower jaw, and it's a treifa. So this is a double b'dika. Miu ein tzarich livdok achar shmuta, but you don't have to specifically check for shmuta by itself. Samchin aruba k'bashar treifas, right? Generally, it's not it doesn't happen to most animals, and as long as you check the beis shchita, you don't have to cut open and try checking it, whatever. Then that's good enough. And some say you also have to check, be sure that there's no hagrama. You have to look it over and be sure that it was in the middle of the neck. And you should check this before you throw the animal down, whatever, in the pile of chickens. If you didn't do it right away and you put it in the pile, you can check afterwards. And we're not chayshish that maybe on the pirkos, you threw it over there and it was twitching and all these things, and then you check it afterwards and you say, well, no, it was because of the pirkos, maybe it's strafe. We don't say that, and that's fine. I don't know what I don't know what they do in the shlachtais and the big factories. I don't know. I don't know if the sheikh checks each one. The truth is I don't know. It's something to look into. I don't know if they do.
What do they check?
To see that it was shechted. One simon was shechted.
That was before. What's this later thing?
What about hagrama? Hagrama means you just check it. You just check it's in the right spot on the neck. I'm saying I don't know all these checks. I don't know how they do it in the what's it called, in the big factories. I don't know, that's one of the reasons to, an idea to go for smaller shchitas is don't just rely on, okay, well, went in there, if it was a problem, it's bottle, and I don't know, whatever, whoops. But it's, to actually check and be sure that it's kosher. This is the mile of having smaller shchitas, but it's not, your own shchita, but it doesn't mean that the other ones are a problem. It's just, this is one of the ideas that they have with what's called mahadrin, is they have smaller batches and they're able to check things, but it doesn't mean the other ones aren't kosher. It's just, there's different din and they can makayim more.
So someone else needs to check it?
No, the shaycha can check it.
When you were shechting, he was
Shechting, and what he knew was what? Hagrama. No, I'm talking about the whole simon. Just also check that But with Hagrama, no, the Hagrama. You have to be sure that, let's say, we're talking about a cow. Let's say on the cow, you have to be sure. It's a big neck. You have to be sure when you did it that just check that it was in the itaka didn't hit the whatever. Generally, it doesn't, but just look at it. Be sure that it's not too high up. Chicken could be easier. I don't know. The chicken could be, these things are easier, and it's much simpler to check than But al panim, this bedika is chayev to be yotze midei iser. And in general, so right, and in general we say like the reason why also by shvuta we can be somich on rov. I would say by suffix shchita we say that if it's with suffix shvuta we say it's treif, but here is different because like the shach said it's kosher b'di'eved, because even though there's a cheskas iser, but there's no cheskas that the animals that the treifas, no cheskas treifas, and there's no chazaka that animals are walking around with their windpipe or their esophagus torn out. So therefore you have a chazaka, ve'ina shchuta, neged, unless you have a reyesa that there's a treifa, and we'll see the treifa. Unless you have a reyesa, there's a treifa, it can be somich on the rov. So therefore, b'di'eved, the shmuta, you didn't check for shmuta, it's kosher, but you just have to check that. You have to check for hagrama. You have to check that there were rubam was shechted. Again, it's a yesh b'she omer by hagrama. So beikaron, as long as the sheikh checks it and he sees it went pretty far, it's good enough. Beis a boitkin benoitza livos im nishchat harov toimheim. If instead of popping the shiplikova, if you go ahead and you push the way they explain this bedika is that they push the simanim out the throat, out through the mouth to check. It's a mistake. In Ishka that's a mistake because it has to be that the Shema, you have to be, if you don't know for sure, and it has to be Rov Nira Le'inayim, that you have to actually check it properly, that you could see that it's a full Rov, and that it's not that you move it somewhere. You have to see it with your eyes, not just check it in a way that see if it pops up, things like that. You have to actually look at it. I don't know if a behemoth would do that. I'm not. It's a little bit unclear what this bedika exactly was that they did. Yeah, main thing is main thing is right. The main thing is to be sure that it's It says it over here. One second, let me see. It doesn't explain it either. Okay, whatever. Gimel nishkata karoi. If it was shechted properly, was zev and not of the me'eha, and zev popped out of nowhere and took the v'me'ayim, ziron, and then took a bite out of it, put it back. Kishehem the kuvim, right? Obviously they're all holy, and they look like you don't know, can't tell if there's a treifa or not. Kshera. We say we tell it on the once you know there's a cheskes heter. Once you know it was shechted properly and it's yotzi becheskes iser. Now there's a cheskes heter. So now even if a zev would come and or some other thing would pulverize the me'eha, whatever it is. Oh, well, you didn't get to check it for trephus, pulverize the lungs, whatever it is. So then we're not. It has to be well, at least you see the holes. We're not choshesh that there was a neck of there before and it was a treifa, whatever. As a unless they could be toilet in that case. But before that, you actually check it. The cheskes issa omeres, and therefore we're not toilet on the zev, and we say that maybe it bit in a spot there is a needle, whatever the treifas are, and it's a problem. Chol savik she'ira b'shchita treifa. And any suffix which happens by shchita is treifa, and this is like we said before. This is the Ramaz based on the simanim before that if there's something that any suffix in a cheskas iser is we need a varei matir and therefore is treif. Chavav nikiv haveshet b'shas shchita. If the veshet got nicked while he was shechting the kone, and then he nicked the veshet, let's say by a oaf, he was just cutting the kone. Keneged a makom sheshachat kvar treifa. That if before he finished the shchita, he nicked it, and then and then continue shechting, it's a treifa if he knows that he nicked it. Again, if he shechted the veshet and then he got to the miyut basra, he got the robe and then nicked it, let's say a different part, so then or something like that, it's kosher because we don't, unlike we say by the other hilchos shchita that it's one ma'isa shchita and it's a shamut or all these things or whatever. Here, Nikuva Veshet is not a question, it's not a problem in Shchita, it's a shayla of a treifa in Vela, so therefore it has to be that it was before it was shechted. If it was shechted already, then it's obvious, then it's not going to go ahead and cause a treifa because this isn't Inyan Shchita. Be'ez shachet hakane v'nikva hareya, so he was shechting the kane, and at that time the reya, the lung got pierced. Kodem sheshachar aveshet by a cow, or sheshachar aveshet v'nikva minayim, or he was shechting the veshet, and at that time the bnei ayim got pierced. Kodem sheshachar hakane treifa, because we don't, since he didn't finish the ma'isa shchita, we don't say and this is a varay. These are things which are varay tarifit. We don't say, well, anyway, since he shecht, anyway, he cut the veshet, so, he cut the food pipe, so who cares if the, if the stomach was pierced, or the opposite, if the lungs got pierced, who cares? He already shechted the kone, so what does it make a difference? It doesn't make a difference, because we hold that the reish treifus achatzi chiyus, and it doesn't make a difference. It's not shechted. Even if it's not shechted, this is a din treifa, and therefore, even if you're doing until it's kosher, it's still partially alive, and therefore it's considered a treifa. It's considered a treifa. So that's why. So even though as far as you think differently, but that's not how we paskin. And therefore, any treifa which happens during shchita is it's going to be treif. Chav zayin chatach mi behema la'achar shenishchata karoi. If you cut the behema after you shechted it properly, you take a piece out, but then it mefarketzes, right? And it was still it was doing pirkus, whatever. Also lechal b'mena ad shetamus al behema. So why would someone do this? Why would someone cut a chunk out? Whatever. They'll just finish the din. That if you cut the leg off, right, and you want to roast it, so then we have to be sure shetamus behema that after pirkus, that it stops doing pirkus. So once that happens, then you can go ahead and enjoy the piece of meat. Why would someone do this? I mean, it's a discussion by the Shvatim. One of the Yosef, one of the Dibasim Ra, one of the Lashon Hara of Yosef was that the Shvatim were reading Aver Min Achai, and so the Bataritz that no, they weren't eating Aver Min Achai, they were eating Aver, cutting the Aver off when it was Pirkus. So the emphasis for goyim it's also because by goyim the point what's going on over here is once you shechted an animal, even if it's pirkus and it's not considered a full misa, so therefore by goyim it's also goyim is only mutter to eat animals after pirkus after it stops moving around. But by yidin the heter is shchita, not full misa. Which gets into interesting questions about the thing that emetz and shchita is a matir. Does it mean the animal is actually dead? No, they studied it. They say that's really dead. They say that the proper shchita is really dead before. But you see that the din misa is not till after pirkus. This is where things get a little bit hazy. But besides the anti-shchita things, where things get a little bit hazy that they're going to don't understand, like. It's not dead. But al kol panim, so by goyim, it's also to go ahead and eat it. So therefore, is a machlokes with the Rashi and the Rambam. Rashi says betzim it's only din to rabbanon, and it's vada, and it's mutter, and it's really mutter after shchita. It's just since it's a din that by goyim something's also, it can't be something also by goyim and mutter for yidin. It doesn't, it's not geschmack, and therefore also like we see that you see that the goyim don't understand and different things. So therefore, the din derabanan, it's also the Rambam Taka says is even more. It's a din deraisa. So So does he quote? I don't have the Rambam in front of me. It's in Aruch Shulchan. I mean, he looked at the Rambam himself. We don't. I don't think it. I don't think we go by the paskin like that. I think that it's, but I don't remember. I'll have to look it up. Al kol panim. So therefore, it's also so once it dies, even though al kol panim, even according to the Rambam, it's not Aver Min Achai. It's just you can't eat it. It's from a different din. But once it dies, so it's not an Aver Min Achai. You can't eat it. Once it dies, so now it's completely mutter. Shaila is, are you allowed to go ahead in discussion? Are you allowed to go ahead and sell this to sell parts of the animal to a goy, or give it to a goy before pirkos? If it has to be ashatamos, or Shaila poskim ask that from the din. If something's also for it has to be shavet, right? Also that which is also for yidden is also for goyim, vice versa. So if in the shchita it was in the vela, so it's also for us. It's mutter for goyim. If something's also for us, and it should be also for goyim, are you allowed to go ahead and sell it to a goy? And there's a long discussion in the achronim. Mach mekel lemaisa vermekel. Lemaisa the minig is the hakel. Some sefer says that the minute Yisrael ain't dezarim b'zeh, there's a discussion back and forth in the Achronim and the Chuvas about whether mutter, not mutter, and we should or we shouldn't. The minute Yisrael is to sell it to going, and that's the minute Chutzaretz and all the shlachtoi, and the slaughterhouses and whatever, is that they sell. Is that if there's a problem with the animal, they sell it to a goy. So therefore, it's that's the minig, and it's fine. Al kol panim, so that's that's an afkamina over here. Like I said, most people don't start cutting out pieces while the animal's running around. The reason they say that the Shvatim did that is because it gives more koach. It gives them more koach. I guess if more iron. I don't know. There's more iron in it. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know, but actually, the Mishnah it says it gave them more koach, and that was the reason why the Shvatim were interested in doing that. Now, the last thing in this sif, which is a discussion in the Taz, he has a long discussion about if the neck is broken. I don't know, breaks its neck, but it's still alive. Is it considered? Is it considered an avela already, or because by shchita, right? Let's say that let's say everything broke, through shchita, it's not alive. But let's say it happened, let's say it happened by accident, and I got hit by something, and it was caught, and all these things. But you see, it's still alive. Is that an avela or not nafkamina for milk and eggs and things like that?
So there's no shkita at all?
No, you can't do shchita. But the question of kamina for milk and eggs. So the Taz says it has to be that the actual, not even if the neck is broken, the actual spinal cord has to be torn, has to be called a nevela. There are those who are cholek, other achronim are cholek on the Taz and say it's enough that it broke its neck. Lamais is not so much of a nafkamina, but in medical issues, a lot of the dinei trephus and dinei nevelas are used as rayas for mikoveas bamisa, different things like that. The medical issues, so it's Deah to be used, when dealing with medical issues, is what is considered death or not death, and does he need chas v'shalom, a person's if someone's neck is broken, is it, what do we say he's already dead, not already dead? Okay, not getting into passing actual shilas, but these are the sources. This is where they start looking into as to deciding about these types of things. Okay, let's just do the first sif in the Chavches Dina Kisu Yadam. Hashaychik Chaya O'ov Tzarech Lachsos Damo. There's a mitzvah deraisa by a chaya or an oaf to do kisui hadam, not by a behema. Ben tzad ata ben shiuz mizumanim biyado, doesn't make a difference if it's we don't call a chaya v'oaf. It depends if it lives out in the wild or if it's domesticated bison or bison's a shiloh. We'll see. That could be a buffalo. We'll get that in a slightly later sif. But let's say it's deer. Let's say you have a deer farm or things like that. Doesn't make a difference. Chicken farm, any offer or chaya, your chaya to do kisui adam. It's a pasuk. Hagal kisui hi mitzvah lifnei atzmo. It's not a chelik of shchita. It's a separate mitzvah. Well, shchita ksher afim heizi v'lo kisa. Shchita is ksher even if you mumar lahachis. I'm not going to cover. It's barbaric. I'm not covering time. Whatever it is, the shchita is kosher. Not for the next shechita. Not his shechita is kosher. That's not the whole point. It's a different ma'isa. So therefore, even if you would be mazid and the hachis, whatever it is, it wouldn't passel the shechita. The next shechita, I don't know if you should use him, but al kopanim, it doesn't treif it up, and different the different reasons for shechita. But different for kisui adam, different timing that are brought. And beside, for the time of the crying sham, that because dam is a benefesh, because the Torah gives the tam. Trying to what's dam who should benefesh, and why do we have to mechasa it? I saw one very interesting pshat that last thing with the medrash. It says that when Hevel was killed, the wild animals and the birds buried him. So as a schus for this, so therefore they were given the schus of kisui adam, that their blood was buried. Interesting medrash, and we'll finish with that.